Hello and welcome to another video. We've got a fantastic question today about triceps training. Penumbra Dweller writes in and says, hey Matt, I work out from home, so I want to ask you for a bit of advice. You're in the right place, let's get into it. I've been doing overhead extension and seeing good growth. Do you think I should focus on executing it with as much intensity as possible as my only triceps builder? Or should I add another pressing variation more aimed towards the other heads? Brackets, close grip parentheses in the form of a JM press. If anybody's unfamiliar, JM press is kind of like a hybrid between a skull crusher and close grip bench press. Skull crusher, you're letting the weight come kind of behind your head. You know, close grip bench, you're keeping your elbows tucked, you're pressing here. JM press is like you're lowering it down to like your neck, kind of, and you're getting a big bend in the elbow joint specifically. YouTube JM press if you want more information. Or dips, okay? I am still getting good gains from just overhead extensions taken to failure. What do you suggest? Okay, so I'm gonna give you my specific recommendation of what you should do. First things first though, we need to touch on the general conversation about the triceps muscle being made up of 3 heads, all right? And the difference from an anatomy standpoint in the 3 heads is massively overstated, which leads to people thinking that you need to do specific exercises or specific work for each one of the heads. And what's happening here is that there is a difference in the case that the lateral and medial heads originate, or they start, the muscle begins on your humerus, your upper arm bone, okay? And then it crosses your elbow joint. All right, and the lateral and medial heads only extend your elbow. That's the only thing they do. The long head, which is further back here, originates on your shoulder blade, back here, kind of underneath your rear delt. And then it comes all the way down and crosses the elbow joint. So because of this, the long head doesn't just extend your elbow. It's also responsible for shoulder extension, which is taking your arm and putting it behind the body. And so, given this anatomical difference, there's a whole body of education and content talking about how you need to do different things to target the different heads. Complete BS, okay? In reality, any triceps exercise you're doing is gonna target all 3 heads pretty evenly. Take me as an example. I've only been doing the overhead dumbbell triceps extension. Recently I've been using cables sometimes too, but it's the exact same movement behind the head for the last 3+ years. And my triceps development wise in terms of lateral head growth versus long head is pretty much identical to many years ago when I used to train my triceps through a variety of exercises that are supposedly hitting all the heads evenly. And also to note is that I've significantly increased the size of my whole triceps with just this one exercise. This is a small anecdote, but if you understand the anatomy, you can see that this is just a small difference that people are leveraging to overcomplicate the training so that they can prescribe you something that you don't need. So if all I tell you is that when it comes to triceps training, really any exercise that extends your elbow joint is gonna grow the triceps pretty evenly, and your genetics is largely gonna determine what the heads end up looking like aesthetically, there's not much else to say there. Whereas if I complicate it by noting this anatomical structure truth and inflating it up to make it seem like you need to do these specific movements for your long head, these specific movements for your lateral head, and if you don't split your volume up between the 3 heads evenly and do all these different angles, you're not gonna get triceps growth, and this is the thing that leads to growth. It's total BS, and it distracts you from focusing on what actually matters, okay? So disclaimer over. Let's now get into what I would actually recommend in this case. So this individual has just been doing the overhead triceps extension and seeing good growth. They're a specialist. They're just doing one movement and seeing good progress. Now there's pros and cons from being a specialist, just doing one exercise, and being somebody that uses a whole variety of triceps exercises. I think, in my opinion, there's way more benefit to doing one or a couple exercises at a time. Why? Because it allows you to focus on progressive overload within those movements. If you complicate your program and you're focused on lateral head, medial head, and you're doing 6 different exercises in one session, it's difficult from one workout to the next, 1 week to the next, month to month, year to year, to track what you're doing. Second, you don't get as much of an expert skill level with that movement, where the mind-muscle connection really starts to solidify. Your ability to tap into that muscle and push it to its absolute limit strengthens the more that you do it. And when you're always doing new movements, you miss out on that. And so what I would recommend in this case is that if you don't mind the monotony and the repetitiveness of just doing one movement for triceps at a time, do that. It's not about trying to hit the different heads. You'll get plenty of triceps growth. It doesn't matter, okay? Trust me. If you find it kind of boring, monotonous, and repetitive, and you'd like to have at least a couple different movements, this is how I would set up your training. You should be training your arms twice a week to begin with. So unless you're a brand new beginner, once a week, but you can still alternate from one arm workout to the next. You're gonna have 2 different arm workouts, okay? The first arm workout, you don't have to use these exercises. You can pick other exercises if you want, but these are the examples I'm gonna recommend. Workout number 1, dumbbell triceps extension behind the head, French press. Supersetted with standing easy bar curls. It's easy to do in the gym. You just gotta find a bench or the back of a preacher curl or something that you can do a dumbbell tricep extension, and then you just grab an easy curl bar and you go back and forth. Pushing 2, absolute failure in the 8 to 15 rep range using a slightly fast explosive tempo after you've warmed up with 3, 4, 5 warm-up sets with progressively increasing weight to hit your first working set. With a weight, when you push to failure, you get somewhere between 8 to 17 reps, somewhere in that range, okay? And then you're gonna rest 3 to 5 minutes, and you're gonna pick up your easy curl bar and you're gonna do the same thing, balls out all the way to the max, and then you're gonna rest 3 to 5 minutes. That's 1 round of the superset. You're gonna repeat that for 3 to 5 rounds, okay? And that's the foundation of arm workout day 1, and you're gonna keep it that way. Workout 2, which if you're advanced will be later that week. If you're a very beginner, it'll be the next week, is gonna be 2 different exercises. Let's pick, in this case, something that might slightly bias the lateral head more, but again, is massively overstated and doesn't really matter. But if you wanna check that box, let's do close grip bench press, okay? Supersetted with seated dumbbell curls. You can do both of these things on one bench. You find a bench press, you do a bunch of warm-up sets with light weight, progressively increasing the weight, 4 to 6 reps. Don't go all the way to failure. Warm up the muscle so that you're primed and you don't feel like you have any twinges or issues in your joints. You hit your first working set of close grip presses. Same way you did on arm day number 1, you push all the way to failure using a weight that lands you somewhere in the 8 to 15, 8 to 17 rep range. You rest 3 to 5 minutes, you scoot your butt to the end of the bench, you grab some dumbbells that you can train all the way to failure with and get somewhere between 8 to 15 reps, resting another 3 to 5 minutes. That's 1 round, you repeat that 3 to 5 times. That's the foundation of your 2 arm days, and you're gonna alternate back and forth, okay? This way, you have a little bit of exercise variety. If your appetite or hunger to have one movement targeting the long head and one movement targeting the lateral head is being satisfied, even though that's such a small, minuscule thing that doesn't really matter, but we're covering it anyway, so we're all good, and we don't have to give anything up to do it in this case. And you got a little bit of variety, but you have the consistency so that each time you go in, it's simplified and you just focus on putting all your energy into pushing each set to the absolute maximum. Now, if you're a little bit more advanced, after you've done that 3 to 5 rounds, you could then go to some different exercises and do a different structure of training. What does that mean? Here's the example I'll give you is arm day 1, you do your dumbbell triceps overhead extension, supersetted with your standing preacher curls. You're getting freaking huge, supersetting back and forth. Whatever, you do 5 rounds of that. Then we go over to a cable and we do rope push downs, but we're gonna do a drop set. And we're gonna use a really slow tempo. We're gonna use a 4-second eccentric where you push the weight down for 1 to 2 seconds, you come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. A super slow controlled tempo, okay? Helps to develop the mind-muscle connection. The burn's gonna be insane. Once you hit failure and you can't do any more reps, you drop the pin down a little bit and you do another 6, 8, 10 reps. And then once more, you drop the pin down, a total of 3 sets, 2 drops in there, where you just rest 10 seconds. And then take a full 1 to 2 minute rest. Bring that cable that was up at the top down to the bottom and do standing rope curls. Same thing, you're coming up, 1, 2, and then you're lowering it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you're gonna do 2 additional drops, a total of 3 sets. Rest 1 to 2 minutes. That would be 1 round of the superset with drop sets. And then I would repeat that, let's say 3 times, okay? Just as an example. And then the next arm workout 2, you do your foundational 3 to 5 rounds. I'd say 5 rounds with the extended rest time, with a fast explosive tempo, focusing on progressive overload, tracking the weight you're doing, chasing reps every session. And then you do some crazy intensity drop set, whatever, and you can get creative with it. And this, the reason I'm mentioning this is that at this point, at the kind of second half or the end of your session, where you're chasing a pump, you're kind of burning out, which I think is also a valuable part of your training program. It doesn't matter as much which exercise you do, and you're not gonna lose out on the consistency value because you're not tracking really. Like that first example I gave you with the drop set, you're not gonna like record that and then the next workout. Like the mentality has shifted to where the rest times are shorter. We're using an intensity technique. We're burning the muscle out. We're not focused on chasing reps. We're not focused on gaining strength. We're trying to fatigue the muscle as much as possible. Don't let it fully recover in between sets. Go beyond failure using drop set as an intensity technique. It's a completely different approach where the normal concern with having a lot of different exercises being it makes it difficult for you to track your progressive overload and have consistency doesn't really matter for this part of the workout, because we also want some variety stimulus where the beginning is very structured and it's very specific. And I think that's gonna give you the meat and potatoes of your gains in your triceps, your biceps. But there's also value in doing something different and chasing a pump. And it's also fun to finish the workout that way. So that way you can kind of add and play around with different exercises at the end of the workout when you do the pump stuff or intensity technique work. All right, so that's another way that you can kind of mix some more exercises in to satisfy your desire. But the overall takeaway point should be that the triceps and biceps muscles both are very simple. And you're not isolating your short head versus your long head of your biceps. You're not really isolating the long head versus the lateral head of the triceps. You just want some growth in those areas in general, and you're gonna do that by extending your arm for triceps and flexing your arm for biceps. And the position and the exercise and the heads you're targeting, it's overcomplicated to sell you on a more sophisticated prescription. All right? It's harder to sell you on something if I tell you it's that simple. There's not a whole bunch of additional information that I need to associate false value with to make you think it's the information that's gonna lead to the results. And this is what you should pay me for because I'm overcomplicating it, because I'm inflating some anatomical truth and making it seem way more significant than it is. That's the lesson that I want you to get out of this. So, Penumbra Dweller, I hope that answers your question. You can stick with it. If you don't mind it, you're not bored. If you are getting a little bored, switch to the 2 arm day structure that I rambled on about for the last 5 minutes and do that, and you'll be just as good. I want to finish the video by highlighting some comments and some messages of people that have been following the routine and are seeing some dope results. I want to share within our community here. If you leave a comment, I'll potentially put the spotlight on you. So the first one is a message. So I'm going to keep this person's identity anonymous because I don't know if they want this to be shared publicly. A message on Instagram. Anyways, they say, I hope this finds you well. I will turn 52 in December, and because of your content and challenging my thinking, I have implemented the French press superset. The French press, another name for the behind the head dumbbell triceps extension. And with fat grips pull-ups. So he's doing French press supersetted with pull-ups using fat grips, which is just this thing you put around the bar that makes it thicker and in theory is gonna create more stress on your forearm. It's gonna be harder to grip or strengthen your grip, which is kind of, in the vein of amateur strongman, which he goes on to say, I competed in amateur strongman for over 10 years, and now I have been training with kettlebells and Zercher squats as my main workouts. I have never really been a fan of bodybuilding, but I decided to add in your style of training. In a month, I have already got comments and can see my arms getting bigger in years while holding my body weight at 222 pounds. I think that's pretty sweet. This individual, you know, they've been at it, they're a bit older, 52, age is just a number, making gains, following the prescription. I love it. Moving on. We got a simple comment here by Mr. Cartman with 3 N's. Bro, your approach is a game changer for me. Thanks a lot. Anytime, my guy. I hope that you are supersizing your seps and never wearing sleeves. Moving on to Julian Drron or Julian Drron. Could be either or neither. They say, man, I'm doing your training routine and ... My God, the pump I get in my arms was absurd. Even my friends noticed it. Lol, thanks for sharing it. I bet this has to do with some of the drop set intensity technique finishers. You push to failure and add a few drop sets, you're just sprinkling gasoline on a fire for a sick pump. Among many other things that'll pump you up, but that in particular. Cheese Bricks 2241. I've seen an increase in my arm size, especially the triceps from following your workouts, Matt. I appreciate your videos for the entertainment and self-improvement. Thank you, friend. Thank you, friend. Cheese Bricks for leaving a comment and for getting in the gym and busting your ass. The information and knowledge is only as powerful as the action you put behind it. I know that sounds corny, but it's so freaking true. And every single one of these people that's seeing progress, it's on them because they're the ones that are actually making the habitual changes to go in there and push themselves to the max and be consistent with it. That's the harder thing to do. I can sit here and yap all day and ramble on, but action and taking the stuff and applying it is what's fucking dope. And that's what some of these people are doing, which is awesome. Another one here by The Droll. Love it. Committed to the program, love minimalistic approaches. Smashing some intense arm workouts 2 to 3 times a week. I love that frequency. Run every day and am vegan, hell yeah, for the last 10 years. No change to anything but arm training and already put on 1/2 inch to each arm in 6 weeks and pump for more gains. Also, this is at 39 years of age. 1/2 inch in 6 weeks is tremendous progress. This person, the high frequency is definitely playing a role. Even the language they're using, smashing some intense arm workouts, tells me that this person has the ability to push themselves to the maximum. High intensity, good amount of frequency, being consistent with it. Also, if you're vegan, from what I've seen, you have to be a little bit smarter with your nutrition. You can 100% build just as much muscle, in my opinion. I've known a handful of people in my personal life that are vegan are absolutely freaking jacked. But I think you do need to know what you're doing and where you're getting your nutrients and protein from a little more. That's my opinion, okay? And so, I think this person is super dialed in, 39 years old, making gains. There's another comment they left that I want to pull up because when I initially saw this, I was like, maybe this is newbie gains, right? Because that's some pretty sick progress. But then I see a comment from 3 weeks prior, where the comment I just read was 7 days ago, as you can see. They wrote in to say, giving your fuck sleeves program a go. Rip off your sleeves, let the pythons breathe. Definitely not new to training. Okay, it doesn't say exactly what this individual's been doing, but it sounds like they've been at least semi-consistent at lifting weights. 39 years old, but upping the intensity per workout. Key ingredient, as I've been hammering home to you guys over and over. It's not that complex. Train insane. 3 times a week, and so far after 5 weeks, feeling and looking different, interested to see how it goes, give some more progress in terms of arm growth in centimeters, keen to see how it progresses. So this is somebody that's trained for a while, they're vegan, which again, the stereotype with veganism I think is BS. You know, like it's, oh, you can't build muscle without meat and like, I don't know, man. It's anecdotal, but I've seen and known a handful of vegans personally, and like it doesn't seem to limit them at all, but they also are like, they know their stuff and they know like which exact frickin' lentils and chickpeas and things to eat. So I think the stereotype is misplaced, and this person's making gains. So anyways, keep the train on the tracks. If you're a regular here, you know what I mean. Trying to stay focused and not ramble too much. Another one here from Oi Mickey, a good friend of the channel, says that I tried your for beginners suggestion to do 7 warm-up sets and then 5 rounds of the superset. Holy shit, for the last 2 tricep sets I had to remove weight just to make 10 reps. Was able to go 8 pounds heavier with each bicep set without having to lower the weight. I wanted to quit so many times during the workout, but didn't. Way to push through. And now I can't wait until next Saturday so I can do it again, all over again. You're hooked. You got a taste. Now you want to come back for more pain. It's interesting because I usually have shoulder pinching going overhead, but leaning back onto the bench a bit really helped with the triceps extensions. Didn't feel a thing in my shoulders. Is it weird to even feel a little soreness in my lats? So one of the things here that I want to highlight is that this person persevered and pushed through the temptation to quit, and then now can't wait to come back again. And this is something I think so many people miss, is they never tap into really igniting that aggression within. That when you push yourself, if you find a way, the gusto to do it, even just once, and push yourself to your utter brink, pre-workout music, anger, whatever you need, just so you can taste what it feels like. A lot of people get hooked after that because it's an amazing feeling. Because you realize, it makes you feel so good about yourself because you realize, holy shit, I thought I couldn't do that, but I totally can. That was extremely painful, but I forced myself to do that. Now look how pumped I am, and then I want more. And so many people, when I used to train clients like in person, that would be the problem. And you push, like they don't want to push themselves, and I force it on them in a safe way, and then it activates something. And I think there's a lot of you out there that just have never tapped in to really, and it's just this, it feels good because I think everyone has, but in particular men, okay? And I think nowadays in our, bubble wrapped world, sit on your computer, become a freaking loaf of potato, whatever that is, you get my point. It's so dormant and we're so soft, and just pushing yourself once to your physical brink makes you feel more alive. If you think it's all corny and stupid, just do it once, even if you don't agree with me. Safe, warm up like this person did. They did their 7 warm-up sets and they jumped into their working sets and attacked it like an animal. Now they can't wait to do it again. It fires me up, and I want more of you to do that, because then you're not forcing yourself to work out. You actually, and it's enhancing your life, and you have an outlet for the aggressive energy that you just kind of pent up and died. Like it's like demonized to be like aggressive, like toxic masculinity. Nah, you just need to put it in the right place. And you're not gonna do any harm to the weights. You wanna take out your aggression on the weights, you're gonna be better for it. You're gonna be a calm, kind person. You're gonna feel activated and alive and not pent up like a battery spewing acid out the top because you got no outlet for your primal aggression. Okay, rant over. You get the point. Did I talk about cheese bricks already? Yeah, we did that. Okay, that's it. That was the last one anyway. So you're done. You don't have to listen to me ramble anymore. So I hope that first part helps you to structure your triceps training, give you some ideas of how to do it. If you're getting sick of just one exercise, or if you're doing too many exercises, how you should trim down. And if you want to do my specific arm courses, the link is always in the description. I got video-based lessons where I walk you through. It's not just a PDF. There's 3 different structured courses: the Fuck Sleeves Arm Program, the How to Build Massive Arms Program, the Armzilla Arm Program. And now, over the past couple months, I've been uploading every single one of my arm sessions. So you can do the courses and get the blueprint and follow the program and the structuring. And then, if you need to spice it up, you can look at whatever wacky workout I'm doing of that day. And it's just cataloged by date, pick on any day, walks you through, shows you the exact routine to do. So it's just another resource. I want to highlight some of the people that are having success. Sometimes just committing to a program in general is valuable, but this is my life's work, experimenting and continuing to push my limits and try to push the envelope, and willing to try any method, and then reflecting on the results I get and trying to be objective in the programs I design and the advice that I give. And so if you're keen for more information or you want a little bit more structure, check out the link and sign up. People are growing. If you're just here to watch and subscribe, leave some likes and a comment, man. If you have a question, there's a decent chance I'll answer it. Or if you want to just share your personal experience with your training, or if you're on the program and you're seeing some results, leave a comment. Let me know what's up. I read them. And I respond, or I try to respond to every comment. I'm trying to get a good, active community of arm growth going here, our strong little niche of freaking giant python holders. And stop wearing sleeves. You're in sleeves right now. Do me a favor and freaking rip those puppies off. You gotta let the pythons breathe. They can gulp up some O2. It's like fertilizer for grass. Okay, we gotta shut it off here. I go off the rails. If you give me too much time to talk, it's only a matter of time. I was sick, so I took a shot of whiskey, but as usual, I went completely off the rails, so we deleted all that and reined it in. Got a little bit of a sore throat sniffle thing going on, so yeah. Thanks for watching. Glad to have you here. Have a great day. Peace.